first is called Vocalese. Make a pretty I was too young to audition, but Grammy told me that the dean of the voice department knew that we were special. So curious, after my grandmother convinced her, she let me sing. And my grandmother nodded at me, so I let the ghost slip sideways up my marrow, slithering down to slip my shoes off my feet until they were splayed, arched cold against the floor. These ghost hands tunneling through my spine, fingers braced around my neck, rocking me. Ghosts have no voice, but they were planting sounds in my stomach, and I opened my mouth to let their harvest rise. Open. This dean was astonished for a moment. Singing isn't really about singing. Who isn't intrigued by a good haunt? My grandmother had always taught me to channel pain, to let it rise up the column of my throat, a tiger leaping through fire. And she trained me to be the voice for the acid welled inside of her. And where Grammy's song was a sorrow-laden hummingbird two-legged to fly, my tongue persisted. The dean cast her gaze over me. She said, "My dear, only 12. Well, aren't you an undeveloped Kathleen Bowell?" Opera is the art of wearing everyone's abandoned pain and channeling it through the body, making it pretty enough so others can experience the thrill of devastation and return home rinsed and secondhand humanity. The dean looked between the two of us, my grandmother and me, my grandmother's neck stretched in anticipation to hear whether or not we really were special. And me still heaving with this pulsating haunt, and the dean opened her arms. I had a home, because wasn't opera the natural next step? Make a pretty In violence, art can either envelop or it can exploit. The summer I turned 12, I told my grandparents that my father was violating me. And when I ran to my grandmother, she wasn't surprised, but she said, "Your father was wrong, but imagine how he feels. Go comfort him." And instead of therapy, my grandmother gave me opera, an art where our testimonies were in a language that no one understood. And when I sang, the tiger ghost clawing through my ribs came out, but people applauded her. People applauded her. Make a pretty Art either envelops or it exploits. Often exploitation masquerades as love. Exploitation. My grandmother kept delivering me to my father, more and more insistent that I needed to love him. Papa, a French restaurateur, and Grammy would bring me to the cafe to sing arias matched with the spirits he'd chosen. At 15, in perfect Italian, I'd stand next to the piano, letting the tiger ghost climb. Beat me. Hit me. Your poor Zerlina. And I shall stay here like a lamb and await your blows. Pull out my hair and pluck out my eyes, and I shall let you do these things and happily kiss your hands afterward. Opera. I am a goat prompted to pray to the knife. The only song I'd sing in English was my grandmother's favorite. Hush, 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 little baby. And my father always led the ovation. From the back of the room, he'd bellow for me to close. Duo mio babino caro. Babu Pieta. Father, hitting me. A setup. My family grinning for the photos as I wrestled with the discord, a growl choked in my belly because no one teaches you how to sing the truth. And what is the sound of betrayal? Spread your fingers and curl them into a witch's claw and shape your mouth into an ugly, whispered, ah, and look into the emptiness of your trembling hands and let your voice heave. What is the sound of fury? Make two fists and open your mouth wide enough to swallow the entire sun and let your fists pound your thighs, and the wind has become feral and you become feral too. What is the sound of realizing that you are the sacrifice? We have not woven enough language to hold the gusts of that kind of sorrow. There is no song, only the thunder of a sky collapsed to keep the peace. The most vulnerable person holds everybody's pain. Make it pretty. Call it aria. Call this opera. And what is the cost of belonging to a song that does not love you? Call that cacophony. Was there altruism in Grammy teaching me to channel pain? Pain is a good show. Good shows bring audiences. And audiences always loved the ringmaster because the little tiger was trained to jump through fire.